Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the wingback role in Football Manager. Let's get started with an overview of the role. The wingback is a role that plays out wide on the defensive back line as part of a back four or in a more advanced position like you see in a 3-5-2 formation. They don't venture too much into the midfield and are usually in charge of creating the width of your tactic. Width is always an essential part of creating a good tactic, and a wingback executes that. And the main thing about a wingback is that they love to attack. With their willingness to make forward runs and their isolation away from the congestion in the midfield, the wingback can be one of the most dangerous attacking threats in the game. In this highlight, we're the team in yellow, the Central Coast Mariners, which we will get to in a bit. And my wingback is number 2 at the top of the screen. As we win the ball back, watch his movement and how willing he is to make that aggressive run to start the counter. When he gets the ball, he dribbles out wide before heading to the byline to send in a pass into the penalty area. This is quintessential wingback play. I mentioned how he loves to attack, but he also does his work in the defensive phase as well. In this highlight here, you can see how he's part of the back line before making a key tackle. Now, the wingback doesn't really score goals. They do occasionally, but usually it's from deep and not something you can consistently count on. However, they can definitely lead your team in assists. I mentioned my save with the Central Coast Mariners in the Australian A-League, and my wingback Mikhail Doka leads the league in assists. This role may be the most demanding in all of Football Manager because of all they're asked to do. They have to be a viable attacking threat, they have to be solid defensively, they have to create the width of your tactic, and they have to run up and down the entire pitch across the entire match. That's a lot to ask for from one player. So that's something to keep in mind as you build out your tactic, that the wingback is asked to do a lot, so if your player starts to get tired, they can become less effective. And speaking of tactics, let's look at some tactical considerations as you build out your own. The wingback is a brilliant role to use because of their versatility in all different kinds of formations. Like I mentioned in the beginning, they can be used in a back four or a back three, depending on what you like to run. However, you still have to be cautious when using this role because their aggression can sometimes lead them to be out of position, so you need defensive cover behind him to protect from that. The traditional 4-3-3 is good for a wingback because you can use the defensive midfielder as cover. I find that an anchorman or halfback are two great choices. Either of these two holding defensive midfielders work because it allows the wingback to be ambitious in their attack, knowing there's someone offering protection. And this is my 4-4-2 with Central Coast, and I use 2 defensive midfielders. I actually only like to use one wingback, and this is a personal preference. You are free to ignore this advice if you'd like. I use one wingback in a back four because I find that 2 wingbacks is actually too aggressive, like it's too attacking, and you can often be left with only a few players back for defensive cover, and you can really be hit on the counter if you're not careful. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know I love a balanced attack, so I find a wingback on attack on one side and then something like a fullback on support on the other provides really good balance for your defensive back line. You have somebody providing attack and you have somebody providing defensive cover. And I use an anchorman on the same side as my attacking wingback because that allows the wingback freedom to run up and down and make those forward runs while knowing he has protection behind him. As far as the fullback on support, if you check out this highlight, you see as my wingback Doka is attacking, my fullback on support Noah Smith is providing defensive cover. The fullback on support won't go as far as a wingback, so you have that nice balance. The other thing you need to keep in mind is if you have a player in front of your wingback. So like in a 4-3-3, you have 2 players out wide on the same side. You usually want to choose some role that cuts inside with the ball, like an inverted winger loves to cut inside with the ball. My personal favorite is the inside forward on support. This is because they sit tucked in towards the attacking midfield area anyway, and they cut inside with the ball. This allows the wingback plenty of space to move and run around in and cause havoc, which is a ton of fun to watch. They're a great duo together because they have an outlet for each other, so if one gets closed down or something, they always have a teammate to pass to. The one you need to be careful of is the actual winger role. So there's the winger position, but there's the winger role, and that role stays out wide. They go to the byline and cross into the penalty box, which is exactly what a wingback does, just from a more advanced position. So just be cautious if you're having issues. Check to make sure you're not running a winger and a wingback on the same side. The wingback lets you choose either defend, support, or attack duty. And on defend, the wingback will sit back more towards the midfield and hit deep crosses. In support, they'll get a little further forward, but they're more concerned with hitting those crosses. And I feel the attack wingback is the final form, if you will, of the wingback. That's where they get to the byline and hit those dangerous crosses into the penalty box. For those of you that like to run a back three, check out this tactic that I used in my save with Tijuana in Liga MX. Be warned that this tactic is a lot of fun, but it's very chaotic. If you like seeing goals, then try this one out because you're gonna see them from both teams, I might add. So it's a ton of fun. Try it out and let me know what you think. Now let's check out some player examples by looking at two of the elite in world football today. The first is Taylor Hernandez from AC Milan. You can see how he has elite attributes in nearly every category, but especially the physical. He has the pace and acceleration to outrun nearly everyone, as well as the technical ability to hit those crosses accurately. And this is the same for the other example, and that's Hakimi from PSG. He also is incredibly well-rounded, especially in those physical attributes like pace and acceleration, two key attributes for a wingback. As a quick aside about player examples, I would like to get some feedback on what kind of player examples you guys would like to see. I'm always hesitant to use like top players because it's like, yeah, a good player is good. For those two, I wanted to show how elite wingbacks need to be well-rounded in basically every category. And by elite, I mean like you're trying to win the Champions League type thing. But going forward, would you like to see top elite level player examples? Would you like to see lower level, like if you're in the National League of England or something? Or would you like to see a combination of both? Anyway, that is all for today's video. Let me know how the wingback is working for you in your own tactics. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.